Yo, what is going on, everybody? This your boy Sean, aka Puff Comics 83, and we are back with another episode of Talking Movies. I am joined by my favorite co-host, my partner in crime, Varangian Vigilante. How are you doing, sir?
A little bit tired, but it's summer. Everybody's tired. However, I got a real nice tea with me with lots of coffee, and so we should be fine for today. And also, we're talking Late Night with the Devil, a movie that I really enjoyed, that I was looking forward to for a very long time, and it just didn't come out here in cinemas until finally months after like the US release. They brought it to cinemas here, and I was able to see it even in English, which I was afraid of that they're gonna release it here and then they only have it German dubbed, which would be horrible. Uh, but yeah, so happy I watched it. I pre-ordered already the ebook release, the 4K that comes out later this year, I think in September. Really wish I could have seen it one more time before we talk here, but sadly no possibility here, since that the rights holder won't release it as a digital version before they're gonna put out their physical release. So, but I'm looking forward to it to rewatch it.
Yes, and I thought the rewatch for me, because I watched it a few months ago, and I thought I really enjoyed the film, but I got a lot more from the second rewatch, which is supposed to do. You're supposed to gain more from
absolutely.
it.
I think this is one of the movies, and like I said last week, we talked a little bit about it. Is it a movie? Does it really? It's like I would say it's an experience. It doesn't really adhere to how a movie is structured. It really feels like, when you go on YouTube and you just suddenly find an episode of a talk show that they uploaded from decades past, like here, right before the Satanic Panic, and
Yes.
it really feels like a portal to that time period, and they did a fantastic job. They did a really fantastic job to have an authentic experience in this regard, and actually every other regard too.
And it really keeps you going the whole way. Like soon as you start to really get invested into, you can't take your eyes off the screen, and that's a real testament to how good a movie is when it keeps your attention to the point where you want to see where this is going. And then when you
Absolutely.
get to that point, you're like, oh shit, it's completely bonkers in that last act. And then you start to get all the stuff that comes back in form. And I really love the setting of the 70s. I love the talk show, late night show, because again,
Yeah.
back in the days, it was huge, when it came to late night TV. And Johnny
I
Carson was
know.
like the king.
Absolutely. Back in the day, maybe what a lot of modern audiences don't get, and this is maybe something why they experience probably this movie a little bit different. But when we grew up, right before the internet, and even when the internet came out back then, there was a long time before YouTube. You may found some 10-second clips somewhere, but those didn't fit on any diskette or like on any cartridge or anything. Um, and what you were gonna do, what was on TV late night?
Late night.
So and when you were like in school back then, we were on summer vacation, and you were like able to be up long. Of course, you watched all the late night shows. Even here, like on German TV, there were some that copied like the American format in that sense, and it was just the stuff you watched. And even later, I think when I was able to get some US channels, and when you watched Leno, especially because Hulk Hogan was on it.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like you look forward to seeing those celebrities that you always love that show
Yeah,
up on there, like, oh, I gotta watch this. So
absolutely.
yeah, go ahead.
And this was the stuff we watched at night. When because all of this was right before DVD. Of course, we had some VHS, etc. But but we didn't have like this many options, and just also like the edgy. When you're watching this, when we were like like teenagers or even before that, there was an edgy humor in it, and you appreciate it, and of
Yeah.
course.
But the star of the movie is hands down David Dasmalkian.
Absolutely.
He is the star. He really carries it from beginning to end. And we talked about him briefly when we talked Doom, because he was in that, and we like this guy always been underrated in every appearance he made in films, and for him to finally get the spotlight all on him, and he carried this whole thing, really shows the testament to how he grew as an actor all those years to the point now he's the man.
Absolutely, exactly. Especially, he is a very well-established character. Like you said, in Dune, where he plays Peter the Freeze, and also, of course, when you look at actually, he's been in a lot of big franchises. I didn't like the Suicide Squad movie so much because it was way too long and way too convoluted. But his his performance as Polka Dot Man was one of the best in the movies. Or, for example, he also played like I wouldn't say a big role, but he was like one of the bigger character actors in a fantastic movie, The Last Voyage of the Demeter, which was totally ruined by its trailer because the studio wanted to look like a scare fest and like a modern horror movie, but it actually was a really classic feeling horror movie about Dracula's voyage from Romania to London on the ship the Demeter, and it was an excellent movie, and his performance there was brilliant. We also have to talk that movie in the future, and I'm pretty sure that maybe the comic book cheese bot would love to be a part of it.
I forgot he was also in Oppenheimer, which was pretty big last year.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got a list of movies that he's been in. I mean, The Dark Knight. I forgot he was in Ant-Man and the Wasp. That's how much I forgot about that film.
I haven't watched it. But yeah, he's busy, and he's also a fantastic storyteller. His comics are really good, and you can really see, he's writing a Count Crowley comic, and there you can totally see that horror is where his heart is. And when you look at his Instagram, he has like such an interesting format. Like he has also like this talk show where both hosts are like where they're in coffins and they're talking to each other. He's very creative, he's hilarious, and he's a very kind person. When you read his comics and you tag him, he thanks you for reading the comic. And as you say, like, he's a busy guy. He's a character actor in many big franchises, and he doesn't have to do this. So like he's a person that I very much appreciate, and this is in a time where actually I really give a shit about most actors because they just seem to live on their own planet.
Yeah.
But he's like a really kind person, and I'm so happy for him for the success because Late Night with the Devil didn't cost a lot of money, and it's a financial success. So happy for him, so happy for the directors, and because they're also very community based. I have not talked with them, but my ex-girlfriend is like in a horror group with one of them, and she had a discussion with him about the film. So they're very much in the horror community, and I really hope that everybody who was a part of this project will be able in the future to do more horror movies.
Yeah.
Because I also think that how this movie was done is very innovative. And there's like one thing after I was in the cinema where I wondered, I really enjoyed it. Is it a movie that I want to rewatch? And now that some weeks have passed, I'm like, I really want to rewatch it. So this was for me like the final test about my verdict about the movie. And it's one of the best modern horror movies.
And let's get this out the way because I don't want to revisit this part again. The whole controversy with the use of AI. To me, I thought that was ridiculous. Like all they did was use the title screens for like the messages and stuff like that, and I liked them. But it's
yeah, they were great.
They were great. But you know, the fact that people took offense to it, like, oh, you supposed to get real artists to do that. I'm like,
yeah.
Look, if they want to cut corners and say let's use AI to just create these title screens, hey, by all means.
Absolutely, and you know, the other thing is also that without the use of AI, we may in the future don't get certain movies because you can cut a lot of costs with AI. But also think about it: you may not pay an artist, but you pay a person who uses the AI. And in general, in a lot of professions, people are not getting replaced by AI. People are getting replaced by people who are able to use AI.
Yeah, and to me, like you can still use artists and stuff like that. Artists won't be eliminated, but at the same time, complaining about this little thing in the movie is ridiculous. Like I can see if the movie just overdid it to the hell point to this, like, oh, all this AI and stuff. Like, yeah, I can see complaining, but they were only in it for like 5 seconds max.
Exactly. You know, it's all about how you use something. It's the same with a knife. You know, you can put butter on a bread with a knife, or you can stab somebody. It's still the same tool, but the use is very different. And this is like, I think, was a very well use of AI. This is also how AI should be used, in my opinion. And the bad use of AI in movies is James Cameron fucking up 4K remasters of good movies, like you know, Aliens. I'm not buying the fucking 4K of Aliens. Maybe when it's like on sale for 10 euros because I just wanna like give it a try. But you know what I've seen, or with True Lies, and there's not even a proper Blu-ray remaster of True Lies officially. There's, I think, it's a very fantastic YouTube video. I forgot the channel sadly, but he did like a really deep dive analysis into the AI remastering of True Lies, and you can totally see, you know, how some eyes shift when you like slow down. Hey, intro. So you know, AI is a tool. Use it to make something good. And if you use it to destruct something, it's just a shitty use of a very useful tool. And like you said, when you're a good artist, you will never get replaced, because in the end, people want to buy art from artists because they're gonna resonate with it. You know, this is also where I'd like to talk also with Mahmoud Asra. You know, because he's very much against AI. You know, because I get the fear, and fear is like not rational. So I told him, you know, you don't have to be afraid. AI is not gonna sign one of your covers at a convention.
No.
But of course, if you're a shitty artist, you didn't get jobs anyway now.
Alright, so another thing I want to talk about, two characters that I thought were fantastic. One is Carmichael Haig, played by Ian Bliss. Like he completely chewed up his scenery, and it's like at some point you can't disagree with some of the stuff he's saying. Like, he sounds like a douchebag, and he comes off as pretentious and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like I call his readings. Okay. He was doing his readings and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't buy this shit at all.
Yeah, but the Carmichael character was so great, and he's like based on a real person. He's an asshole version of a very charming real life person that passed away in 2020, James Randi. And have you seen the documentary An Honest Liar?
No, I've heard of it, but I have not seen it.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. I watched it a few years ago. few years. It was like 9 years. Fuck it. Watched it like 9 years ago on Netflix. I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but it should be out there. And James Randi was a magician that later turned into a skeptic and also always had like a check with him. He's like, hey, if you can prove you have real magic, you're gonna get the check. He never had to cash it in.
But yeah, he played great in this film, and I love the balance between him and Jack. You know, Jack trying to be the reasonable host, and he just keeps butting in and calling bullshit on the doctor's whole thing with Lily, who is the other character. Lily.
Yeah.
I love how she sat there in that chair and looked at the camera. And you
that was so,
like, that was so creepy.
Fucking creepy. That was like, breaking the fourth wall creepy, where it's like, am I gonna get cursed watching this movie?
Even when the part when, like, before they went to commercial break, she just turned and looked at the camera all and, like, her facial expressions throughout the film were great.
Absolutely.
So between looking innocent and naive to just looking sinister, and then just looking downright evil when she gets possessed by Mr. Wriggle.
Yeah. Who else also did a fantastic job is the actor who played Christo.
Yeah.
The fake
psychic.
The psychic. And it's also great because I think that movie also showed very well, without too much exposition and dialogue, how code reading works and how it's not working, and how like a lot of real life psychics, they use code reading to make people believe that they have psychic abilities. So basically, you say something very basic and you get one information. For the one information, you make the other person talk, and therefore you get to know the person, and you can make like the right assumptions so that people think that you could read their mind. And I really loved how this was like exposed, but I also really loved that the moment when suddenly something real happened, you could see that Christo was like, fuck, because he knows he's a fraud, and suddenly he's like, I didn't do this.
He didn't do it, and now somebody real is actually doing it, and he is. You can see from the moment he suffered that emotion, all the way to his exit, he was sweating. He had the disconcerting look. He was feeling ill and coughing and stuff. Like that's what happens. The price you pay when you think that you can play all these people, and then something real psychically attacks you.
Yeah, and he acted it out very well. In general, I don't think there's like a real bad acting job in this movie. Like every character was very convincing. I also really like, that basically the announcer of the show, that he was very, he was very superstitious, rightfully so.
Yeah, because Gus was like, "Can we end this? Can we just like cut this off?"
Which was very smart.
Yeah, because it's like now this is getting
poor Gus.
And then what Carmichael did with him.
Oh yeah,
that was probably one of the best special effects with practicals.
Yeah.
Ripping the worms out his stomach and then him becoming the giant worm. It's like, oh man.
In general, also, I think that the effects were very well done, especially for that small budget.
Yeah, especially the last part of the movie where the demon really comes out. He get his head twisted out.
Yeah, this is an overachieving movie in every sense.
One character that I thought should have got it at the end was the producer, Leo Fisk.
Because every producer is an asshole.
Yeah, like next to Carmichael, he was the next asshole. Yeah. And I'm like, this guy is constantly pushing people to get the job done and do the thing. And it goes into the main character, Jack, and how he is so hungry for success that he will do anything to compete and beat Johnny Carson. And that is the gist of the whole film.
Absolutely, and this is so fantastic because right in the beginning, when hey Al,
Ow!
yeah, when you see that, when you have like right before the movie, you have like this little summary of the character, like a little TV biography, uh, and hey Gary B, yeah, movie
Gary.
is so fantastic, and they really paint him as a very sympathetic person who had like who had like really bad, like a real bad fate in his life, with his wife dying and everything. And the whole movie is then basically a deconstruction of his character. And you see that, that behind the sympathetic, lonely, sad person was a power hungry person who was willing to sacrifice everything to get into the top spot. And it really played also well together, with basically also um, this conspiracy theory of occult gatherings within the Hollywood cycles, all this cult thing.
The Grove.
Yeah, the Grove. I met you like at a tall trees.
Which is a legit place, in California.
Yeah.
And the fact that they actually like talked about it just shows how they really, and the 70s was like the perfect time period because all the chaos that came out of the 60s bled into the 70s,
Yeah.
and it really like sped a lot of things up, like the satanic panic, all the cults and the occult worshippers.
I mean, everything comes in cycles, and at that, like, we're getting to this point again.
Oh man. But yeah, a lot of that whole beginning part, it's a great rewatch just to get that history of it and to see Jack.
Yeah.
He comes in humble and he's eager for success, and then once he has that success, it just comes crashing down.
Yeah.
And he's trying to do everything in his power to maintain it.
And this is also something that what I really love in an occult movie. This is also something when somebody asks me, why do I love pulp literature so much? Why do I love Robert E. Howard stories of sword and sorcery? Why do I love the cosmic horror of H.P. Lovecraft? I say because for me, I love fantasy worlds where the use of magic comes with a price, where nothing is for free, and if you're trying to cheat like the system in that sense of like the system of existence with magic, you have to pay a price for it, and sometimes the price is a little bit more than you want to pay, and this movie does it as well. And I love this concept of magic. I'm not a big fan of some high fantasy world, when basically you just can use magic with a power that is like currency. It's fun at some points, but I really love the worlds where magic comes at a price that you have to pay with. Every time you use magic, you're a little bit less after it.
And the thing about that little montage at the beginning is that you see certain things that comes up later in the film. And the one thing that stuck out was the owl at the grove.
Yes.
During the sacrifices and their little thing. It's like that shit pops back up. I'm like, oh shit. That was right at the beginning of the film. And and the thing, I did not notice it the first time, but the second time I caught it. When you see the TV screen right at the beginning, you see the face of the demon that you see later on when they go to that same screen and the demon's face show up. But you see it in that beginning part.
When I have the Blu-ray, I gotta watch it because I didn't notice that one. And it's also like, I think this is a movie. The more you watch it, the more do you discover. So I think that's it's a very rewarding rewatch.
Yeah,
I think that
you're guaranteed to miss things on your first rewatch, but the second rewatch, you get to catch new things.
Yeah.
And I always replay certain dialogue. They're like, okay, now that dialogue makes more sense when I see it now.
And it is, yeah, it's just such a well-crafted movie, and you can totally see that everybody that was involved had a very much an interest in the topic. You know, the same thing, like all these little Easter eggs. You know, when you had like Carmichael's intro video, so the guy, you know, with bending spoons, which was of course a rip on Uri Geller, which I'm pretty sure Uri Geller's gonna sue because he sues everybody. But yeah, there's so much. There's just so many details and so many references to shit that happened in real life.
And then like the whole thing with Jack's wife, and you know, I was like trying to figure out like how did she catch cancer, and then I'm like, it's because of the sacrifice, like, and then when he had her on his show during her dying days with cancer, it was the highest rated show that he had, and it's like that's again he's using his wife as a way to get ratings.
Yeah, and this is you know, in the beginning when you watch the movie you feel so bad for him, you know, that his wife died because they had this picture perfect marriage, and then you find out, you son of a bitch, you're like, you're such a disgusting person.
And on top of that, like even the wife was describing him as a way to like what was going on in their life, where he came in and he saw the naked bodies and stuff like that, and he's getting kind of like worried about it. And then later on you hear somebody talk about, oh, that place you go with the Grove, I only want to be down with the orgies. You know what I mean? So you know his wife was involved with that.
Yes, and it's like, you know, the way the movie, you know, hey, Tucum Pedro, glad you're back, brother. I really love, you know, how this movie just gives you another layer, and it's such a great build-up, you know, because every information you get before is it's just not there thrown in your face. It's not just like exposition. No, it's really like it feeds you clues, and this is what you know. This is a movie that doesn't insult your intelligence, and for that I already love it.
Yes, because it forces you to pay attention. It forces you to really,
but it also makes
listen to the dialogue.
Yeah, but it also makes it so easy because it has such a good dialogue.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like the dialogue is good, but there's certain things in there. Like I'm even listening to the background voices in certain scenes of the crowd. You know, because I'm trying to catch the clues.
Yeah, I know when I was watching it in cinema, you know, it's one of these movies where you're like in your seat and you're just immersed in this movie.
Yes, and that's the thing. It's like I'm truly immersed. Even when we were talking backstage about how we was feeling tired and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm fighting sleep while watching the movie, but I'm also still trying to pay attention because I have my headphones on because I'm just watching on the computer.
And I'm sitting here like, you know, when is the Blu-ray gonna come out?
I like this movie.
Hey,
I like this movie. What is going on?
We love this movie. It's an awesome movie.
Don't tell me you hate it.
Yeah.
Don't tell me you hate it. Hey, Angel enjoyed the
exactly.
film. So don't
like
come out saying you hate it.
You're the outliner here. You're the odd one. But yeah, this is, you know, before I've seen it, I really tried to avoid any information about this movie. But of course, sometimes on Instagram I saw people from the horror community. Some were saying it's so good. Others were saying it's like they absolutely didn't like it. And I was wondering, you know, why are these opinions going like so much, apart from each other? And you know, when I saw it, then I was like, now I get it. Because, like I say, you can basically also don't call it a movie. Because it is a very unique experience, and it doesn't really follow follow like every point in the movie has to follow like every act, etc. It really like it feels like watching. I'm gonna repeat myself, but it feels like watching a rerun of an old late night show, and I think that with some people this not just didn't resonate, which like I take no offense in because of course it's subjective and there are there are movies not everybody like. I think the only thing in this world that people can agree on is that Queen and Michael Jackson make perfect movies because and the movie make perfect music because I've never met anybody who dislikes Queen or Michael Jackson as musicians.
No.
But otherwise, everything is very subjective and I totally get when some people watch Late Night with the Devil and just afterwards like, what the fuck was this? But when it hits, for people who like this approach, it really hits. It doesn't miss.
Yeah, it's a different approach,
Mm.
and I love how it is shot. It's shot
Yes.
in the color with the
Oh, the
4:3
colors.
format, and then when it goes to commercial, it goes to the widescreen with black and white.
Yeah, I'm also like, as soon as I saw the colors, I was like, oh, this is like Kodak, like coloring, like good old
Yeah.
stuff. And they really managed. Like, they probably didn't shoot it on film. They probably like used filters for it, but they did it very well. And it really also shows, even when you shoot something digitally, you can still grasp a nice coloring and because what I really don't like with a lot of digital shot movies is that it just feel too bland. The grain is missing. I don't know how young people that grew up on TV when already almost everything, or with modern movies where already everything was digital. But for me, for my brain, when I don't see a certain grain, it feels like it has a certain uncanny valley for me. So the grain in this movie was so well that I immediately felt at home. If you
Yeah.
know what I mean with that.
Oh yeah, I understand. Like, it's because we grew up in the era where the grain was still there, and
Yeah.
we watched films on VHS before HD and stuff like that. So we're used to that kind of low quality of filmmaking compared to what people are used to today when it comes to digital and all the effects. Movies looking super clean and
Yeah.
stuff.
I wouldn't even say it's like the low quality because I think that the grain is a process of the filmmaking, and this is also why I appreciate so many 4K releases done by production studios or by smaller companies that really care about film. Because with Blu-ray, we got the grain filtered out in a lot of movies. For example, one of the most horrible Blu-rays that have existed is the Predator Blu-ray, where everything looks like it's like a wax museum. But the 4K Predator is one of the gold standards of, I always say the first movie you should watch on a 4K, watch the Predator 4K, because in a lot of 4Ks, they really managed to make the picture clear but still with the grain in there, which creates...
I'll say this. The first Ghostbuster Blu-ray, they increased the grain to the point where it was horrible. It was horrible.
Yeah.
That shit had me throw that shit away.
How is the 4K of Ghostbusters?
It's better than that.
It has to
Way
be.
better than that.
Yeah.
That shit that pissed me off. Now I watched that Blu-ray once. I ain't never put it in the Blu-ray player again. I was like, nah, this is just a collection piece.
So I'm really wondering how this movie is gonna look on 4K when it comes out.
But yeah, the thing that really elevates this film is that everybody in this and the entire cast really elevates the film, and every character plays a price because each character wants their own success along with Jack. Even if the doctor, who Dr. June, she says she cares about Lily. Like
but she only uses her.
Yeah, she's using Lily to promote a book, and I'm like, oh, here you go again. You using somebody to say, oh, you're the caregiver. You're trying to take care of her, but then you got this book coming out like, oh, my story with Lily and this demonic possessor. And I'm like, yeah, see, you got your own play in to get famous.
Yeah, probably Gus is the most innocent person in this film.
Of all of them, he is the most innocent.
Poor Gus. I really wish he got away.
If he would have ran out instead of doing the power of Christ compels you, he would have survived.
Yeah.
But everybody pay the price, and even though Jack is the central figure of everything that happens, they all have a price because Carmike he's doing his own thing to try and dispute everybody else, but elevate himself.
I love that he tried to give the demon the check.
Demon burnt that shit. Like, nah, money ain't an option here.
Yeah. It's like, you're not gonna pay me with the check. You have something else that you're gonna pay me with.
But then the part when Lily, lets out Mr. Wriggles. Yeah. That was a great scene.
It might be even one of the best possession movies.
Yes.
Like this movie, I think this is one of the few modern horror movies I think that's gonna stick around for decades.
Yeah, and that entire sequence was great.
The split head demon effect was really great.
I love how she immediately, or the demon itself immediately calls out Jack, saying, "I remember you from the area with the tall trees."
Yeah, that's my only quote, of course. Good to see you again, Jack.
Yeah.
We
Jack
met
was like,
under the tall trees. We met under tall trees.
And then he immediately said, "Oh, he had the other girl. That whore is dead, got a terrible disease, and now he wants June." And it's just that revelation that the demon knows Jack is where, like, okay, now everything that he did in the Grove is slowly starting to come back, because they showed in the montage that the Grove was doing some worshiping shit, cult stuff, and then you had the where Lily was from, a Satan worship group. They burnt the house down just to take themselves out, but she was the only survivor. So you knew that she was possessed, because how she survived and everybody else died. Yeah,
exactly. Absolutely. And also the wonderful thing is, I'm also personally so thankful. What I hate about the horrible post-horror genre, I absolutely despise Hereditary and Midsommar. I absolutely despise those movies. They're not allowed to sit at the horror table. What are they, 3 hours long each, was some bullshit. This movie, about 100 minutes. And if you can't tell a horror story within the span of 90 to 100 minutes, you're not an artsy director, you're a shit storyteller.
When it comes to horror, I do not need to sit through no 3.5 hours.
Absolutely. It's not the fucking Lord of the Rings. No. Come on, it's a horror movie. And the horror movie must be impactful. And when you have 1 hour of boring dialogue between scenes, it's not impactful. It may get some reaction out of people that have never seen a decent movie in their lives, or they don't know what is impactful. But when you're when you're true,
even a murder mystery horror has to have a strong impact.
Exactly. Watch one of the fantastic movies, one on top of each other, by Lucio Fulci, or the other title prefers a perversion story. It's a fantastic, like whodunit story that is great until the end, and it doesn't always stay its welcome still. And like a good director can tell any crime or horror story within the span of 90 to 100 minutes. Suspiria, the original Suspiria, I think is only 70 minutes long, and it's a fantastic movie, while the fucking horrible remake was 3 hours long, and I was sitting in the cinemas and like what the fuck is this shit?
Watching those two movies, the original is far superior because that remake was just too damn long, too damn boring, and the only scene that actually had me like, damn, that shit was fucked up, was the ballet scene where the girl was getting folded in half.
Exactly.
That was the only scene that really resonated with me, because I was like, that's some fucked up shit.
Exactly, but I'm not gonna wait 2 hours for that. I'm not gonna wait 2 hours for that. Yeah, it's and also like, I mean, I was never a fan of Halloween. It never really resonated with me. But like those last 3 Halloween movies were the most stupidest bullshit I've ever seen. Like, come on.
The recent Halloween movies made me root for Michael Myers to just kill everybody.
Yeah,
they were all stupid.
Yeah.
All of them. But back to Late Night with the Devil.
Exactly. Back to the good things.
This shit right here, this movie to me is what I love about filmmaking. You take the occult, you take demonic possessions, you put it in a setting like late night TV, and you give it just a solid backstory that everything comes, and it blurs the line between reality, fiction.
Exactly.
What's really real and what's not.
And this also, it made me want to watch another movie that I really love. Have you seen Under the Silver Lake?
No.
It's by the same director that also did one of the best modern horror movies, It Follows. And Under the Silver Lake it also deals with occult conspiracies like in Hollywood. It has a lot of weird shit in there. Absolutely love it. I'm gonna rewatch that one. Which is also one of these movies that I think when you rewatch them, you get rewarded.
But like, this movie definitely took inspiration from the British film Ghostwatch, which is, back in 1992, which is similar thing, Halloween and all that stuff, and they try and do stuff and things actually happen on there, and thousands of people called in there.
I haven't seen it. I need to watch it. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, check that out.
I mean, the best Halloween movie is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Yes. I always said that was the most underrated Halloween film.
Yeah, that's the best Halloween movie.
Because it didn't have Michael Myers.
Yeah.
But the more I watched it, I'm like, I actually liked this version.
I love the movie.
It didn't need Michael Myers.
Exactly. It was a great horror story.
Yeah. And you got Tom fucking Atkins in it. Like, what more can you say?
Exactly.
And that Silver Samrock song.
Happy Halloween, Halloween.
But yeah, like Late Night with the Devil is just a great film. And I really, really enjoyed it, and it really made me like pay attention to the dialogue and everything that went on going forward. Is like, oh shit, like everything in Jack's life that he did, all the strive to be number one, like it's not working. And everything that he did to try and be number one backfired to the point where like they're looking at him like, well, you're in the last year of your contract. What are you gonna do? Like, well, let's do a Halloween themed show where we have actual live demon possessions on here.
But also
on Late Night.
And this is also something that I really liked, in the beginning when the Halloween show started, because it felt like as awkward as when you really watch a late night show and they did something like that. This where it's these mainstream spooky things, the Halloween, your costume parade with the audience. They also nailed this. This movie feels so fucking authentic, and it really pains me being here, like talking about it and not being able to watch it again until the fucking Blu-ray comes out.
That sucks because like this movie really like opened my eyes on what they can do, not only with horror but taking something from the 70s and just like a late night talk show and turning it into something horror like.
I'm really looking forward to what the directors, what the next project's gonna be, if they can really repeat the success, or if this was like a one hit thing. I really what I heard from them, that they're really interested in horror, and as smart people, I really hope and think that we hopefully gonna see more good movies in the future. But of course, it also that the thing is, this movie they didn't have any expectations, and they made the money, and as soon as the studio gets them, and gonna have all the studio inputs.
Yeah. But like the opening montage, you see Jack all happy and stuff. Outside of what happened with his wife, so aggressively relaxing. But outside of what happened with his wife, you see him, doing well in the beginning. But then after shit hits the fan with Lily and she starts killing everybody and he goes to the back, we get a repeat of everything that we saw in the first montage. But now he's like, what's going on here? Like, he's looking at the audience, he's looking at the people who actually in that montage, like, saying their lines, and he's like, this ain't real, this can't be.
Yeah, I love how this movie also plays with what is real, what's not, and also something that it takes it, in a modern way, that how to manipulate technology, also, which I like, as in the scene with Gus and with Carmichael, that how you can really alter reality. Then they watch it and everything was normal. And of course, when they rewatch the footage of Lily, shit hit the fan.
Man, it's quick. They did it quickly, but when he saw his wife, Madeline, as a ghost in the background, for a second, you see the hand on his shoulder while he's watching the TV screen on it.
Yeah.
And then the background person is gone. So it's like, oh shit. I'm thinking the ghost's right behind him while he's watching it on screen.
Yes.
That was creepy as fuck. When you see that hand on his shoulder.
And this is also something I really appreciate about, we already talked about that the scenes where Lily stares at the camera, that this really haunts you as a viewer, and it's so rare that they make movies. It's for me, I love horror movies, but it's so rare that a horror movie can really, give me like goosebumps, in the sense like, oh, that's actually scary. And this is one of the movies after a long time where I was like, this is a scary situation to be in, and it's awesome. Like, of course, it's awesome when you watch it in front of TV, but it's still like, but I still wonder, when I watch it in cinemas, at which point of the show, if I would sit in the audience, I would be like, fuck this, I'm out.
I was just about to say, no way in hell I'm gonna stay in that audience for the entire duration after the shit I just witnessed.
Yeah, and at a certain point, I would be like, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it.
You see the lights go out. You see this girl transforming and have a different voice.
Yeah.
You see worms. It's like, yo, let me get the fuck out of here, bro.
Yeah.
Ain't no way I'm sticking around.
Hell yeah. Like, I'm white, but I'm not that white. Like, I'm not that kind of white that goes like, ooh, somebody has been murdered in the house, I need to move there.
I just saw a video on Instagram with Aunt Esther, the actress who played Aunt Esther from Sanford and the Son.
Yeah.
She in the house. She opens up the door. Some ghostly stuff is going on. She like, not today. She hauled ass and got the hell up out of there. That's exactly how it's supposed to be. Somebody would say, we need to investigate like Scooby-Doo and shit like that. Fuck no.
Yeah, the hell no.
I'm out. Y'all can
Like
do it. I'm out.
like I say, it's like that was like 12 years ago. It was 12 years ago, and I was on a date with a really, a very sympathetic and good-looking woman. And then she told me, like her last two boyfriends, they passed away. Like really, like really stupid accidents, like where she had no like involvement in. But I'm like, like I ain't gonna risk it. I'm really sorry. Like I feel for you, but I'm I'm way too super. I am way too. I am agnostic, but still I'm way too superstitious, like to risk it, because even if there's the 0.1 probability, like hell no, I'm out.
I don't want to be number 3.
Exactly, like now, hell no, and I'm still here, so I'm in a good try.
You're like, nah.
But it's really tragic for her. Like, still, now, like thinking about this, like, I hope she really overcame all of this, and hopefully there was no number 3.
And let's talk about that very last image of the film, the ending. Where he's with his wife in the bed, she's telling him to stab him, and the knife that he stabbed her with was the same knife that was there. The same knife that was at the satanic worshippers. That they cut their hands and rubbed the blood on it. Same knife, same die.
Because I'm pretty sure the shop is the same shop as the people in the Grove Tower.
Yeah. So, like, she's telling him to stab her to end her pain, and he's struggling to do it, but then he does it. And after he does it, it shoots right to the studio where he shows that he stabbed Lily.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh. And then you hear the police sirens in the background.
You just killed the kid on live television. There's some things you don't. There's no coming back.
And then he's standing there saying, "Dreamer, you awake," and stuff like that. Yeah. He's just repeating that until the end, and it's like, boy, you fuck, bro.
Yeah.
All that chaos, all that death, and it's all on you.
Yes, and it's also a great thing because we really want, what was real, what was not real,
and it started like when he got on his knees and drunk the cup.
Yeah.
With the coat around him, and it's like that was the deal you signed. Now this is all the sacrifices that you created.
Yeah. And the last of the day, for the few people who are watching, don't join cults. Don't be sheep. Think for yourself.
and don't do deals knowing that you're gonna be locked on that deal.
Exactly. Don't go to any crossroads and make like certain deals.
and another thing is, you can be ambitious, but you don't have to always strive to be the absolute best and be number 1.
And that's also like one thing. I may not be the most successful person in history. I'm doing fine. I could do better, but also I don't want to step on any other person to have success.
And look, I'll say I'm happy. Super Russ, when I met him at Heroes Con, awesome guy, great person and stuff. I remember when, like, for the few times where he wanted to quit YouTube because he wasn't getting the high subscribers and stuff like that. And I remember I was like, Russ, don't worry about it, man. Don't let this stress you out, because the more you stress yourself out and let that beat you up, then you're not gonna achieve anything, and you're just gonna be depressed. And now look at him; he's doing well. He's got the numbers. Just be you.
Yeah, just be you, and you will get a certain audience. Will it probably be the biggest audience ever? No, the niche there's too many people in that niche to be that fucking huge, but just be yourself. And and the most important thing is do it for the love,
Exactly.
and because I think what a lot of YouTubers that are that are monetized but not monetized enough yet, what they suffer from is that they can't really do the content that they love, and they can't really be themselves because they don't want to get demonetized.
Yep.
So this is like really like you in the suffer spot, like, because here, who gives a fuck? You're not getting anything from this. I mean, we're getting a lot from this because I spend 1 hour and more every Friday with one of the coolest people that I know, and this is for me way more important than any sort of monetary.
Hey man,
I'm German. Those words kill me.
But I appreciate that, man. Every Friday, I love to hang out with you, and I love to talk the way we talk without having being censored or worry about being demonetized, because we're free on how we speak.
And there's nothing. I wouldn't trade 100 people I give a fuck about for like a Gary P, a Christopher Rex, and Tucson Pedro, Al, Injured. Like, I love to have these people here because I like those people. I respect them. I love also to spend that time with them. It's like the only thing where I would be like is like, hey, don't stay in the chat. Just come on here and be part of it. And this is for me way more important than anything else.
Exactly.
Exactly. And but also the other thing is this was also something that I was teaching, but because in my old job I was teaching online marketing, and I had a lot of people in my courses that wanted to be like YouTubers, etc. And then I said, when you look at influencers, when you look at YouTubers, what you see is something they want you to see. You don't see the effort that is behind it. I also tell them, like, I had a YouTube channel and it was fun, but for 15 minutes, for like a 5-minute video, I spent like 3 hours on it. And
here's the thing, B. You didn't sacrifice anything to bend to their will when they wanted to change the rules on you and said
exactly.
No. Some people will bend their will and say, you know what, I'll do what they say.
Exactly. And I was like, this is a hobby. Like I'm not having a bad time doing this, and this is also why I'm here with you, because this is a fantastic time here. And I was like, because of course, when you're like up there, you can earn a lot of money. Hey, simply incredible.
Hey, check out his video with Al from last week. Secret Origins with Dusty Brick Brown. Great conversation.
Yeah, but I always told him, if you can't, look at the work you have to do, and if you can't handle this, get a job somewhere. And if you still want to do online stuff, just do it the way you want to. Don't just have like a safe income, and then take a look at it if you like it, and you can also see, is the content you're making is it resonating with some people? Is it not resonating? But don't choose this life. Don't choose this life.
But either way, it's like just do it for yourself. If you enjoy it, just put out videos and people will come.
Exactly. And the most important thing is also what I give advice in every sort of way. Doesn't matter if it's YouTube, doesn't matter if it's a relationship, is first of all, you must love yourself and you must respect yourself. Because if you can't have a good time with yourself, why would others have a good time with you?
Yeah. And to me, that was what hurt Jack, is that he strived so much to be the top that he lost respect for himself.
Yes.
Through the process, and by doing this episode that ended up backfiring, he lost his good right-hand man, good people died, and now ultimately his career is down the drain.
Exactly, and you can look about it. How many decades was he successful? A lot of decades. Actually, it was like how many years?
If you count his radio success, which led to his TV, because his first episode was like 1970, 71. And then I think this episode that they broadcast in the movie was 76, 77. So he didn't even make a full decade.
Okay, but he was successful for a few years. But how much fun did he have in those years? Or was it constant pressure?
It was constant pressure.
Exactly.
His wife, getting the cancer, which he had to take hiatus from after she passed.
Yeah.
The pressure of not competing with Johnny Carson and not being like neck and neck, and then all the stuff that he tried to do, which was failing. And then the thing that really like hit him in the gut was when he was interviewing the girl, and she's like, "You used to be something, Jack. Now you're a fucking loser." And he took that to heart. He's like, "You're not going to come back on the show, and I'm going on break." And it's like,
and this is also the thing we always say, be ambitious, always strive to be on the top, but there's only one number one space, and all the other spaces beyond can still make you a fantastic living.
Like you can be ambitious without being ambitious and hurting other people to do it.
Exactly. And most of all, you can also be happy with not being number one, even if you strive for number one. Because if you give it your best, you will get the best possible outcome.
Yeah. And that to me is like the major theme of the film is don't try and strive for something that can be unrealistic, but just strive to being the best that you can be.
Exactly. And see, the movie even has a good lesson at the end. It's like it gives you everything.
That's true.
Yeah.
But the whole narrative was trying to be right there with Johnny Carson. He wanted to be neck to neck with Johnny Carson, or even better. And when that was floundering, all he wanted to do was try and have an episode that people will remember forever. And he accomplished that.
Really?
At a price.
Well, like I say, sometimes you pay for something, you get it, but you may not like it, and there's no returns.
But he was definitely insecure at the heart of it, and it definitely hurt his legacy. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's the thing, like he didn't have that strong mental mindset to let the negative people I'm not worried about them. I'm just going to keep doing what I do.
Yeah. Or go back to radio. There's always other. You always have another choice. There's always another way, always another path, and
if it fails, you got radio. You got other avenues to live on. You don't have to always be the top guy, or at least guy to try and compete with somebody else. If it fails, there's always something else in life to pick you up.
Exactly.
And sometimes failure is necessary.
Yeah, there's also one thing, because if you don't know failure, how do you know what success is? Because everything that we humans, give a value to something is because of comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but then again, this movie is just fantastic in every regard.
Yeah, it's a great movie with a great message and just great acting. And I enjoyed it, and I gained more from watching it a second time. And I'll probably watch it.
I can't wait to watch it a second time.
Okay. Let me know when you watch it a second time.
Yes, and it's I think it's coming out in September, so straight for autumn, ready for the spooky season, which I'm also very much looking forward to. Talking a shitload of horror movies again.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
Do we have any plan for next week?
Next week I can't do a show next week.
Okay.
So we'll have to do some the following week, and I won't be able to do a show next week.
Yeah, then on the 19th, I'm gonna decide because it's my birthday week.
Oh yes.
and I promise you, it's not gonna be violent shit.
Hey, I still got that movie on the brain sometimes. There was some hilarious shit in there. I ain't gonna front. Violent shit has some hilarious shit in it. So I was like,
have we talked Streets of Fire?
no, we definitely got to talk Streets of Fire. We have not talked that.
Then we're gonna talk Streets of Fire because that's the movie I'm gonna watch every fucking birthday, and I'm depressed after it because I'm getting older.
Yeah, so Streets of Fire, it is.
Streets of Fire.
So no show next week, and then when we come back, it'll be Streets of Fire.
Streets of Fire, yeah. We're dancing for the broken hearted.
Great discussion.
Tonight is what it means to be young.
Yeah, because
I'm looking forward to Streets of Fire. I fucking love this movie, and Willem Dafoe is so good in it.
William Dafoe is good in everything.
Exactly.
Even the below average movies, and if he's in it, you guarantee he's still gonna give a great performance.
Yeah. Probably also gonna still talk to Boondocks.
Oh my god. But yeah, great discussion.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, thanks. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. The chat was popping tonight, man. Two Gun Pedro, man. Gary B, man. Great.
We got a full house tonight.
Yes, simply.
It's like, you have a late night with the devil and everybody comes.
Yeah. Aggressively relaxing. I want to give him props, man. Thanks for stopping by. Melanin and Manga. Yeah.
Yeah, you're awesome, nevertheless.
Yeah, awesome, man. Enja, we love you, Enja. And of course,
always.
Dusty Brick Brown. Ow.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Awesome, man. So yeah, that'll be it for us. Thanks to everybody who showed up. I hope y'all have a great weekend. Me and Vivi are signing out.
Lots of wrestling this weekend.
Peace out, y'all.